Hi everybody, my name is Patricia.
Yeah,
I'm Olivia. And I'm Miriam.
And for this week's discussion, it's asking what are the dominant stereotypes of Asian Americans in US media, like news media, films, popular culture, and entertainment?
so from the documentary Bad Rap, um, all like the people they interviewed, they were talking about how like Asians in like, medias and movies are like the nerds or like the weird people, and in like popular culture, like they're like the nerd, like the one that's always doing math. They were doing SATs at the age of 6, and oh, like the slanted eyes. They would make that like in the movies and all that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I think there is a lack of Asian Americans in media. And they're like, for like characteristics and roles, they play like the same roles and they have the same exact stereotypes. Like, examples aren't in Pitch Perfect, where that one Asian girl, she has bangs, and throughout the whole entire movie, she's like not really talking at all. And in Up, like Russell is one of the main, I guess, characters in that movie, but he's like seen as nerdy and fat and he has big teeth. So it's like the same stereotypes in every single movie or show.
Yeah, and I want to give like another example. And the show that I watched, Grey's Anatomy, one of the main characters, Dr. Yang, she was like played as someone who was like top of her class from like Yale or Harvard, and like she was very like competitive, like really really smart. So she was played as like someone who's smart and has to be like on top of her class.
And then also like in the movie, um, they were saying that when Asians were like rapping about like gangbanging and stuff and they're like holding up guns and stuff, they're like, you can't do that because nobody's gonna take you seriously because when people see Asians, they don't see like, oh, like they're gangbanging or something like that. They just see like, school and like you're really smart and stuff and education and they don't really take rappers seriously when they do that.
Yeah, I
It's
agree with
like,
you. Oh, sorry.
mm-hmm. It's like I was just gonna say it's like out of the traditional style of Asians.
And then also in like Sweet Life and Zach and Cody, Sweet Life and Zach and
Oh
Cody,
yeah.
how like they made like London, which is like she's Asian, the dumb girl, and then Maddie, which is the white girl, smart. Um, they like did that like on purpose just to like like kind of challenge that stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You don't know what you're gonna say?
I was just gonna say that like we don't really have a Asian famous person to like look up to. Like we had like, Jackie Chan and all them, but they were just like funny martial arts people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, there's I've seen like not Asian movies, but like movies where they have like Asian like characters. There's only they play uh like sub roles. Like they're never like the main person. Like this, they're playing the side role. That makes
Like
sense.
sidekicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adding on to what you said about how we don't have many Asian Americans to look up to, I feel like a lot of movies or I guess companies they use the same actors and actresses that are only like half Asian to play like big Asian roles to kind of like validate that what they're doing is okay and they're not discriminating against Asians. Like examples are I don't know if you guys know Chloe Bennett. She's from Agents of Shield. She's only half Asian and also Henry Golding in Crazy Rich Asians. He's only also half Asian. And there's like a ton of other individuals or actors who are also only half Asian. And they're kind of like telling individuals who are full Asian that they're like not white or good enough to be in media and not like good enough to play like main roles unless they are like partially white. So like they are also recognized for being only white, and then they're recognized for being Asian when they like kind of want to make the company or the industry sound better. Like back to our very first discussion when we talked about like the Miss America person, how she was recognized for being Asian, but like she wasn't recognized for her Asian background. So I feel like there aren't full Asian Americans who get to play main roles.
And I want to put out that ever since like I was born, the only Asian movie like with mostly all Asian actors and actresses was Crazy Rich Asians.
Mm.
Like, that was the only movie that was mostly Asians and all that.
Yeah.
Wait, not even like animated movies one?
Well, I guess there's like Mulan.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Did you guys know that Li Shang in Mulan was played by a Caucasian voice actor? I did not know that.
What?
Was it
But
really?
yeah. I looked
It
it up
wasn't
and I was
even
like, wow.
Asian?
I forgot what the name was.
Yeah, and
What
then
the hell?
well, actually, I don't even know if you guys are gonna know this, but there's a video game. Yeah, it's called Call of Duty Black Ops, and there's like four characters. There's like a Russian, like they're all like different cultures, and then there's an Asian dude, and he's acted by a white dude.
What?
Yeah, like he's white, and like you can't even tell because like when the character talks in the video game, he sounds super authentic.
Wow.
That's
That's kind of disappointing.
Did you guys have anything else to add for the dominant stereotypes in the U.S. media? Okay. I'll move on to the next question. How are Asian American males and Asian American females stereotyped differently? And what different factors contribute to their unique constructions? Use media by Shilpa and gender by Wu to support your response. Can you connect these stereotypes to Asian Americans in the media to the history of Asian Americans that we've learned in this class? So, Asian American males and female stereotyped.
So like the whole Asian race was kind of depicted as like aliens and stuff, and then it said in in keywords that they were looked as like threatening to like Americans and their white like moral standards and opportunities, and so they were kind of just seen as like kind of like the bad guy that's trying to steal your jobs and stuff.
Yeah. They used, I think it was the yellow, it was yellow something, I forgot what it was called.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
think
I forgot the name too.
Peril. Starts with a P. That's all I know.
Peril?
P-E-R-I.
Peril.
Peril? Okay.
The yellow peril, yeah.
And to go off what Olivia said, in the media they were seen as like super threatening and like they want to take over the country and all that, but they were also depicted as like a model student. I mean model student, like model citizen, like comparing them to like the African Americans and like the Latino community, they're gonna be like, oh, Asian Americans are the best citizens and all that.
And what I put down for males was that on page 109 it said they were seen as sexual predators and economic competitors, and they were portrayed as with they had buck teeth, slanted eyes, long ponytails, and rice paddy hats, wearing long robes and speaking in broken English.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to add that they said Asian American males, like in South Asian, West Asian, or like Muslim men, they were like looked as terrorist suspects. So as like some villain or like a bad guy.
And also, I saw that Asian males are used as laborers, and Asian American females were either like sex slaves or like just to keep the Asian population like at level, or they were in like healthcare, like nursing type of that.
And also, females have like typical roles where they have to stay at home, take care of their kids, cook, clean, all that stuff. But on page 106, it talks about how they were charged with abandoning their motherhood responsibilities in order to financially sustain their families. So if they didn't do the typical like job, I guess, that they were supposed to do, they were bashed on for doing something that is not considered norm to society.
Mm.
And also like the Asian like American women, they had to they would marry a white dude just so they can like stay in the country. And like yes, they were like counted like as a citizen, but they weren't like protected. So if the let's say a white husband beat the Asian American wife, and she had no protection from it. It was like masculinity. He's white, so hopefully.
And it sucks because like that's kind of happening today too. Like there's been like shows where white men go to what's it called? Like go to the Philippines and go to like the really poor parts of the Philippines, and then they go and like look for Filipino like prostitutes and stuff, and kind of like, and they're like they have like a lot of kids and stuff, and then they try and come back to America with the guy because they want like a better opportunity for them and their kids and stuff. So it kind of like sucks that it's still happening today because they have to depend on like a white man to take them back to America and help them out.
Mm-hmm. They have like limited options, right? So like to have a better life, especially in the Philippines, it's hard for them to like advance in the economy.
Yeah.
I also read that in media they said that Asian American women were shown as hypersexualized. What does that mean?
For me, it's just like they're just seen as like a prostitute, like just a person to have.
It says that they're extremely sexual.
Okay. Yeah.
Google, by Google.
I know. I searched it up right now. They're treated as sexual objects, is what they're saying.
And also like they base their like living on the male's class and citizenship. So like they can't really do anything for themselves. It's all based on the male in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought that was unfair that once they like marry, they have to continue to depend on their male partner. So it's like they rely on their husband for everything, and they don't get their own freedom, which I thought was like kind of unfair.
Yeah. Mm, okay.
And
I think we move on to the
Justin,
next. Or we're still good.
oh yeah, go ahead. You can move.
You want to say something?
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, our last question is asking, are there any memorable scenes in Bad Rap? What do these scenes tell us about being Asian American?
The scene that came to mind was when Olivia was talking about how when they're talking about Asians and rapping, like, and even if they do be in that like gang banging type of stuff, they're not gonna be taken seriously. And I feel like that's kind of like important or like memorable scene because like even if that's like who you are, like the society won't see you. They only see you as like the stereotypical nerd, martial arts fighting, eating dog type of person.
Yeah.
What I thought was a memorable scene was how in almost like half of the video they kept saying like, oh, like God bless America. Like they kept referring to themselves as Americans. And that's all kind of what they really wanted, was to fit in and to be American and to kind of be accepted into the society and everything.
Wait, who was that guy that made the song God Bless America?
Ren Stizzy.
Who?
Ren Stizzy.
Ren. Because wasn't he like having an argument with this other person about his music video or something like that?
Yeah, because like it was super weird. And that's who he is. He's like a weird person and all that. But his manager's like, if you put this out there, it won't apply to like the whole people. So you won't get that much like money or something like that. And, like your sales might go down. You won't be recognized as
And like in the back of that video, all there was like American flags and stuff, and it was like a typical like American barbecue or like like hot
Yeah.
dogs, and, like ketchup and mustard. But
I didn't understand the video because I don't listen to rap music, so it's like, well, having to watch that documentary was kind of weird.
Yeah, I also thought it was weird too.
I don't even know any of them except for Aquafina because I've seen her in like other movies. That's how I only know her.
mm-hmm.
I knew some of them because like, I'm into rap. Wait, can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm into rap, so I knew like Dumbfounded. I knew he was like, I watched him a while back when he was like underground and like he would do like rap battles and all that. He was really tight. So when I saw him in the video, I was like super hyped about it. And then I knew some of like the other people, like Aquafina was one of them, and then Ren Stizzy. I like knew a little of him, but I wasn't really about it. The Far East Movement was in there. He was dope. And then Timothy De La Ghetto, he was there. Funk Bros was there. So like I watched them, and like I kind of knew where they were coming from and all that. It was really crazy how we can't even do what we want to do because it goes against the stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also the scene when Dumbfounded was having a rap battle with Conceited.
Conceited.
I watched that. Oh, that was so fire.
Okay, and I was kind of disappointed in Conceited because I feel like he just used the same Asian stereotypes to kind of like bash on Dumbfounded. And I was like,
and he even said that the same jokes.
mm-hmm.
Oh, like what I really liked about Asian rappers, especially like Dumbfounded, is they use like how people be like being like saying racist stuff to them, and then he uses that as a counter to whatever. Like Timothy De La Ghetto, he's on Wild and Out on MTV or something like that, and they be having like rap battles, and like all they be saying to him is just like the Asian stereotypical jokes, but then he comes back like as a counterattack, and like I know some of his lines that like, I can show you an example, but I think it's inappropriate to put into videos. Almost.
I actually really enjoyed like listening to their rap battle.
Me too.
Because it's like really cool with their wordplay and like their punchline, and then it's all off the top of the dome. There's no writing, no preparing. It's like you're in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind.
I know. How do they? I don't know how people do that.
Seriously though.
I really think English comes into play in this. Like synonyms is really like trying to comes into play.
And I definitely think that like the music industry for Asians or Asian Americans are like doing better now, I guess. Because before there was like not really that many rappers
Mm-hmm.
or singers. And I don't know if you guys know 88 Rising, but yeah,
Like, isn't-
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So like I feel like they're not really big.
yeah,
Like they're only mostly known in the Asian community. And the fact that they kind of had to create their own label to express themselves and have their voices heard is kind of like disappointing because they have to like work even harder to be recognized and accepted into our society.
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know how you guys are gonna react to this, but there's some like Asian artists that been doing this like for a long time, but then out of nowhere, like these K-pop groups just coming out of nowhere, and like they're like super popular, like BTS. Like I don't even listen to them, but I know of them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like
Yeah, me too.
it's like really, it's kind of like disappointing on how they got like super popular and they like maybe just started, and then like there's been people who've been doing it for like 10 plus years, and they barely on like SoundCloud and all that.
Hmm. Like there aren't that many Asian American, I guess, rappers. Like 88 Rising, I think they're all from like different countries. They weren't like
Mhm.
born in America.
Well, I know there's his name is Doughboy. Well, that's his name, like his artist name, and like he was like he did some music with Lil Yachty. He's Chinese. I can't remember if he's Asian American, but I know he's Asian. So he was like to work with like such a big artist like Lil Yachty. That was a pretty big step, but people still don't even know of him. Oh, and I liked how um, they interviewed like the new people or like the new generation that are trying to get into like rap. And then you can
Mhm.
see their journey of how they would watch like, oh yeah, I used to listen to these like Dumbfounded when I was younger, and I watched his battles, and like he inspired me to actually go into like rapping game and all that. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Another scene that I also found, or like I remembered, was there was like three people who were watching Aquafina lyrics dumbfounded, and this other dude, like they were listening to the music. And then what stood out to me was that they found Aquafina's music like really interesting. Um, and she was like the only like female Asian American rapper like they were listening to, and like they were really praising her for her lyrics, for her sound. That was really neat.
I think that they did that because first, like she's a female, so there's not that many female rappers, and then second is she's an Asian American, so that's even more like rare.
Mhm.
And like to see just a little bit, I'm not hating on it because I don't know like music and all that, but just seeing like a little taste of what she can actually do is like, yo, this girl could be something.
Yeah,
To market that and make a whole bunch of money out of it.
yeah. Um, so what do you guys think of this week's discussion, like the film and the readings?
I loved it. I love this one because like I grew up watching rap, so I was like the the documentary really hit me,
Mhm.
and like to see how like the key word, the reading and all that, it showed how stereotypical we still are, or society is to Asian Americans. Yeah, I like this topic a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree. I feel like, especially since I guess this weekend or this discussion, we were able to relate to a lot of what is happening to us with all the stereotypes and of Asian Americans. And I don't know if you guys know this trend that was happening. I guess I'm not sure when. It was like I think late 2019, and it was called a foxy eye trend. I don't know if you guys know that, but like
Yeah.
celebrities would use makeup, specifically eyeliner, to like lift up their the side of their eyes so they can have like smaller almond shaped eyes to make it
Mm.
look like I don't know the stereotypes that we have. And it was considered a challenge, but I guess they didn't realize how racist it can be to us because as Asians we get made fun of for having slanted eyes and we get called names like chink. But when
Mhm.
non-Asian celebrities change their look to have smaller eyes, it's like considered cool and not racist. So it's like kind of like double standards. So it's kind of disappointing that there still are these typical stereotypes happening till this day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even like big celebrities like Kendall Jenner and like Bella Hadid were doing it. And so I think
Yeah.
that's why like it really like stemmed off into like little girls doing it and like copying them and like oh like I want to be like them, like let me do that and stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't think they like really like fully understood what they were doing and that it was like kind of wrong, you know.
Mhm.
Do you know how the trend even started?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. Yeah.
Because I know I've seen it. I've seen people do it.
I'm not into makeup or anything, but I can't tell the difference. I'm like looking it up on Google on images and all that. I don't see a difference. It's just a little like the line right there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh-huh.
it's like that, but like they would also like position their hand and they kind of like pull their eye back, you
Mhm.
know,
Oh, like
like to
make it more
make their eyes look
chunky.
tinier.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
they do that in the
right
picture.
there. They're like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
To like accentuate their eyes even more.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mm, I guess that's pretty much it for this discussion post.
mhm,
Bye.
yeah.